Have you ever wondered why some countries' places where Filipinos once thrived are now turning them away? What could cause a sudden shift in attitude toward one of the most hardworking, peaceful, and resilient communities on the planet? In today's deep dive, we'll uncover the real reasons behind why 10 different countries are now cracking down on Filipino migrants, workers, and residents. From rising nationalism to economic pressures, and even political alliances, the picture isn't just alarming, it's deeply personal. So grab your attention, because this video will change the way you look at global migration forever. Let's unravel the truth behind each country's bold and controversial move. Number 10. Singapore. Prioritizing locals amid economic pressures. Singapore's competitive job market is tightening. With economic stress mounting and locals demanding job protection, the government has slashed employment passes and raised salary requirements for foreign workers. Filipinos in corporate, domestic, and service roles are being edged out as companies prioritize local hires to avoid penalties. The once booming Filipino community is feeling the heat. More are being forced to leave as their contracts end and renewals are denied. Even permanent residents are under more scrutiny, with deportations rising silently. The nation that once needed Filipino talent is slowly closing its doors. Number 9. Australia. Tougher border control and skilled visa restrictions. Australia, which once welcomed Filipino migrants under its skilled visa programs, is undergoing a paradigm shift. With a focus on Australians first, in job placement, the government is reducing intake and increasing deportation efforts on technical grounds such as minor visa breaches, skill mismatches, or changes in eligibility requirements. Filipinos in caregiving, agriculture, and service sectors are being targeted, often with little warning. The environment has grown hostile, especially in rural regions where local populations feel threatened by foreign labor. Deportations have increased significantly, and hope is fading for many trying to find a permanent place down under. Number 8. Qatar. Quiet removal under labor market changes. Qatar's labor market has undergone significant changes, especially after the 2022 World Cup. With the spotlight now dimmed, the government has shifted toward labor market reforms focused on sustainability and self-sufficiency. Filipinos, who played a major role in infrastructure development and service industries, are now being edged out. Terminations, mass repatriation efforts, and blocked renewals are increasing. There is little fanfare, just quiet, systemic displacement. Many Filipinos who once saw Qatar as a stepping stone to success are now packing up and returning home, unsure of what the future holds. Number 7. United Arab Emirates. Economic recalibration. The UAE, particularly cities like Dubai and Abu Dhabi, was once a magnet for Filipino professionals and laborers. However, with economic recalibrations post-pandemic, the Emirati government has implemented policies to reduce foreign labor dependency. Many companies are now required to prioritize Emirati nationals, and those that fail to do so face heavy penalties. As a result, job losses among Filipinos have increased. Visa cancellations, contract non-renewals, and silent deportations are becoming more common. While the Filipino community still exists in the UAE, its size and influence are steadily shrinking. Number 6. Canada. Policy shifts and rising local opposition. Canada has long been seen as a haven for immigrants, but the tides are turning. A growing sentiment among locals about job competition and pressure on public services has created a wave of anti-immigration discourse. Filipinos, who were among the most successful immigrant groups, are now facing the brunt of policy tightening. Family reunification backlogs, work permit denials, and increased deportation of those with expired documents are on the rise. Although Canada still promotes itself as inclusive, recent changes in immigration enforcement and reduced acceptance rates tell a different story. Many Filipinos are quietly being shown the door, forced to leave the very country they helped build. Number 5. Kuwait. A strained diplomatic relationship. Kuwait has seen a long and complicated relationship with the Philippines, marked by tragic incidents involving domestic workers. In response to reports of abuse, the Philippine government temporarily banned deployment to Kuwait. This move sparked a retaliatory stance from Kuwait, leading to mass deportations and tighter regulations against Filipino workers. What once was a mutually beneficial labor exchange has now soured into a diplomatic standoff. Kuwait's new laws favor local hires and prioritize workers from other countries, leaving Filipinos in a vulnerable position. The atmosphere is tense, and despite the presence of many Filipino workers still in the country, the road ahead looks uncertain and unwelcoming. Number 4. Japan. Rising nationalism and social tensions. Japan, a nation known for its discipline and economic precision, has been grappling with demographic issues. To address a shrinking population, Japan had once cautiously opened its doors to foreign workers, including Filipinos, to fill the labor gap in caregiving, factories, and service industries. However, social tensions, language barriers, and rising nationalism have led to public resistance. The government has responded by tightening visa policies, increasing background checks, and reducing contract lengths. Many Filipinos now find it harder to renew their stays or to find new employment once a contract ends. Even those married to Japanese nationals are seeing heightened scrutiny. Deportations have become more frequent, and the dream of a stable life in Japan is slowly being stripped away. Number 3. United States. Political pressure and immigration reforms. The land of the free is no longer as welcoming as it once was for many Filipinos. With shifting immigration policies, rising nationalism, and a renewed focus on America First, the United States has begun scrutinizing Filipino migrants more than ever. Visa overstays, minor infractions, and irregular documentation have become grounds for deportation. Crackdowns on undocumented immigrants and even legal residents with minor issues have intensified. Filipino families who have lived in the U.S. for years are now facing ICE raids, court orders, and community surveillance. The environment has turned cold and uncertain, prompting a wave of fear among Filipino communities across the country. The message is clear: even long-time residents are no longer safe from expulsion. Number 2. Saudi Arabia. A changing tide in the Middle East. For decades, Saudi Arabia has been one of the top destinations for overseas Filipino workers. However, recent labor reforms, economic diversification goals under Vision 2030, and a growing push for Saudization have shifted the dynamics. Filipino workers, who previously filled crucial roles in domestic work, construction, and healthcare, are being systematically replaced by local labor or workers from other regions who are willing to accept even lower wages. The implementation of stricter visa policies, non-renewal of contracts, and mass repatriation programs has made it clear the kingdom is reducing its dependency on foreign labor, including Filipinos. This is a massive blow for many families who rely on remittances, and a tragic end for many who've built their lives in the desert nation. Number 1. South Korea. Shifting labor policies and silent expulsions. South Korea, once a haven for Filipino workers especially in manufacturing, care work, and entertainment industries, has recently started tightening its labor and immigration laws. What once was a promising land for employment and opportunity has transformed into a far more restricted environment. Filipino workers, who were once welcomed with open arms for their skills and strong work ethic, are now facing stricter scrutiny during visa renewals, random immigration checks, and unexpected deportation orders. The South Korean government has emphasized a move toward automating industries, limiting reliance on foreign labor. This shift, along with growing nationalist rhetoric and public criticism of foreign workers taking jobs, has led to a less hospitable environment. As a result, many Filipinos are being forced to leave, some even after living in the country for decades. The world is changing fast, and for many Filipinos abroad, it's not for the better. While these countries once welcomed Filipino workers with open arms, the winds have shifted. Rising nationalism, economic upheaval, and shifting immigration policies have created a hostile environment. But this isn't just about geopolitics, it's about families, futures, and shattered dreams. For every deported worker, there's a child back home who misses a parent, a dream that was built and broken, and a life now forced into uncertainty. As we reflect on these 10 nations, one thing becomes clear: the global Filipino community is resilient, but it's time we understand the challenges they face and stand together in support. Because behind every statistic is a human story, and it deserves to be heard.